Well, it's Wednesday, and you all know what that means. That means once again we have AEW Dynamite. This one features various matches. Now, don't forget, we're almost a week away. Possibly, I think, week away. Hopefully, I'm wrong or not. Where we head to Revolution. So basically, certain things are setting in place, not to mention the matches and all the storylines, everything. So we'll be going through all of it. But first things first. Now, as you know, normally on a Tuesday, I like to review NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance. Well, apparently now I got to watch it with the first episode starting of 2024. And this one features mostly title matches. Now, I don't know exactly why it took this long because I know that their shows are pre-taped, but who cares? We'll get to all the matches. But then after that, we go to Pro Wrestling Noah with, of course, more of Sunny Voyage's tour. This one features pretty interesting matches, but no storylines or anything significant towards that. But however, we do know that we're getting closer and closer to the Victory Challenge Tag League. And then, of course, we cap it up with some news updates to give you guys updates what's going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, and of course, updates on WrestleCon if any of you guys are planning to make a trip to Philadelphia for WrestleMania weekend, and of course, some developments that needs to be talked about what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling as well. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Lead It Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Lead It Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is the channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about, of course, topics like the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. And also, if I'm unable to put some news updates on this particular episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself, and also some real timing news updates and other cool stuff as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting daily reviews and other cool wrestling content on this channel. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, so let's begin with our very first review, and that is NWA Powerrr, The Golden Door. Okay, it's been a while since I did NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance. I know some of you are saying, what kept them so long? I don't know. I mean, we know that there was plans that they were going to be at have their spot at the CW app and all this other stuff. But luckily, I was able to watch it, and this took place. This was, I think, broadcast on the 6th of February. So basically, that took place a while ago. But let's get started with our first match. Now, as I said before, all these matches are in fact title matches, and there's only 3 matches we're gonna focus on. Now, the first one is the NWA World Tag Team Titles. The challengers is Tim Storm and Jack Staines. These guys were in fact rivals from the very beginning. Tim Storm was the one who dethroned Jack Stane when he was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. And Tim Storm, don't forget, he was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. So basically, you got a superpower of former world champions teaming up once again. But they take on Blunt Force Trauma, Carnage, and Damage for the NWA tag team titles. Now, Aaron Stevens, as you know, Blunt Force Trauma's manager, has been trying to prove a point, saying that Blunt Force Trauma is the true NWA World Tag Team Champions and they're the best. But despite the fact that he's been getting involved. Now, you would think that somehow this would change it, that we will see title changes at the start of the year. No, I think the best part of this match, Aaron Steven got what he had deserved. If you guys don't know what I'm referring to, every single time that piece of garbage tries to get involved in the matches to ensure his team remain as tag champions. But what the best part was, he's always having that glove gloated. However, it did not work because Tim Storm grabbed it and he crushed his hand. Think of it like it's Superman crushing a normal human being's hand. That's exactly what Tim Storm did. And Aaron Stevens was screaming like a little girl, like, ah, oh my God, oh my God. Yeah. And I'm like, well, you had it coming. Even though I could say this, Tim Storm and Jack Stain may not have won the tag titles, but I think it's just too darn sweet that Aaron Stevens had that one coming for a very long time. But I know one person will be laughing her butt off, and that is his ex fiance, May Valentine. I'm sure she's laughing her butt off. So can't wait to see that. But this match ended, of course, with the roll up on Tim Storm. Now I cannot recall who was it. I think it was Damage who pinned Tim Storm, but yes. So that was real fun. Now, a very interesting video package was made by Mims. Now, it appears that Father James Mitchell of the Sinister Minister has put out a contract that Mims was pinned by Max the Impaler, but by definition, by right, he has to put the NWA World Television title on the line. Now, don't forget, Max the Impaler is also the NWA Women's World Television Champion. So that sets it up to a thing. So it makes me wonder, what is the plan from Father James Mitchell? I don't know. But Mims, from my understanding, he's not afraid. He says, bring it on. We'll get through it. Come on. Let's make it happen. So I just hope I know what we're doing. Now, May Valentine has conducted an interview with Matt Cardona. As you know, Matt Cardona is a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, but he relinquished the belt due to an injury. Now, he has made compelling arguments saying that, that he never lost it, never been pinned or submitted. But he felt that it's his God-given right to win the belt and save the NWA. But he has to go against the guy who has made his own decisions, his own narrative, and I'm talking about EC3. So that will be the final match of this particular part of our review. Now, our next match is the NWA the Women's World Title. We have challenger Tiffany Nieves, who has made a name of herself in the independents, take on Kenzie Page. Now, you would think that Kenzie Page, who so far has been cutting corners and cheating her way through to that Tiffany Nieves will find a way to pick up the win. No, somehow Kenzie Page has found a way to ensure things go exactly. She was intending to use the belt to knock out Tiffany Nieves, but she was counting on the ref to try to stop her. But it did work. Unfortunately, the ref did not see that she used like a small hairspray onto the eyes of Tiffany Nieves, then applied the Kenzie cutter and pick up the win. I'm sure Tiffany Nieves is not happy with that. But Kenzie, I'm sick and tired of her being the champion. Someone needs to teach her a lesson or try to outsmart her. So we'll see where that leads. Now, our last match, this one is the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in an ultimate death match. This was a match that EC3 proposed. Now, keep in mind, Matt Cardona calls himself the death match king because he thinks that he's undefeated. I mean, look, he's undefeated because he only had one match. He refuses to do another death match. But EC3 is not going to play by his game, so he proposed this one. But the real question is, how will this play out? So apparently, of course, the Deathmatch Kings even brought in his own tubes made out of gold. But how this is going to turn out? Well, you probably think it's going to be brutal. It's going to be a massacre. But unfortunately, EC3 low-blowed Matt Cardona, which was legal. I hardly believe that, Matt Cardona did not even anticipate that from the very start. But EC3 used the glass tubes and whacked them and then applied the purpose to retain the title. So I have to say it was a pretty good show. Now, I think if NWA is broadcast next week, then I'll probably it won't be on a Tuesday. It'll be at another later time, but I'm glad I got to do it for this particular day. So we'll see what happens. But even though this happened on the 6th of February, just putting out there for all of you guys to know when did it happen. But I think that's pretty much it with the NWA. I believe it's time for Pro Wrestling Noah. Okay, Pro Wrestling Noah, more with Sunny Voyages. This took place on the 17th of February in Gunma, somewhere. It begins with a three-way match. We have Alejandro versus Super Crazy versus Daga. Now, keep in mind, Daga is the current GHC Junior Heavyweight Champion. So this is a non-title match. But however, if Super Crazy or Alejandro were able to pick up a win against Daga by pinning him or something, then they have the opportunity to challenge him for the belt. However, that wasn't the case. I'm sure Daga would stop at nothing to prove a point, saying that he rules the entire junior heavyweight division in Noah. And that's exactly what he did when he put Alejandro in the Diablo wings. And that's it. It was over. But he did indicate something. Who's next? Well, hopefully we'll find out soon enough. Now, our next match, we have, of course, Dragon Bane and his brother Alpha Wolf taking on Masakita Miya in Ninja Mac. I have to say this is a very interesting development because Ninja Mac is a junior heavyweight competitor and Masakita Miya is a heavyweight. We know that the Alpha Wolf and Dragon Bane recently competed for the GHC heavyweight tag team titles, and I think that they did a pretty good job. And I feel like they're stepping up their game. I think it doesn't matter now who they go up against, either heavyweights or junior heavyweights, because they played both. But it was a pretty good match, not gonna lie. But unfortunately, it was, of course, Dragon Bane with the shooting star press onto Ninja Mac to win. I'm sure Kitamiya is not happy how this resulted ended, but it is what it is. Now, our next match, we have Hajime Ohara and Daiki Inaba taking on Yu Owada and Keno. Now, Yu Owada has asked Keno that he wants to learn from him, be his student. Of course, Keno was a bit surprised knowing that someone finally appreciates him. I mean, I know Keno is a real hard ass. I'm not gonna lie about that. But I'm sure if he loses this match, he's gonna get a little tough love. Trust me, I know that will be something that Yu Owada could possibly benefit. But you can say the match was pretty good. Keno, we know he's capable of taking care of himself. But I feel like there's more he has to show for, like show what he's made of. And he did that when he took on Daiki Inaba. But unfortunately, I'm not sure exactly what Daiki Inaba used, but it looked more like the Blue Thunder Bomb that put him away. And of course, Keno was displeased. I mean, not angry at him, or he just didn't walk away, but he understands, yes, you screwed up, you lost, but I'm gonna kick your ass for that. So I think you was gonna get used to getting his ass kicked by Keno. So we'll see. Now our next match, we have the members of Real, consisting of Shuhei Taniguchi, Saxon Huxley, and Timothy Thatcher taking on Team Noah, consistent of Hiroki, Atsushi Kotoge, and Go Shiozaki. Now, recently I have noticed that Team Noah has not been getting a good reps of wins recently. I mean, it's been very, very difficult at times. But we know that Real are very capable. They're like savages when it comes to the ring. Ugh. Ugh. But anyway, one thing that was really interesting is the fact that this match, there was a lot of technical aspects with Real, but it was Timothy Thatcher, who put Hiroki in the Fujiwara armbar, and that put Rail at the spot. But I feel like Team Noah is not improving as a team. I mean, they're just barely put together, but they never. I feel they need more cohesion with them. So, but yeah. Now, our next match is a very interesting one. Now, if you guys remember in a previous Noah review I did, we have Eita and Hayata, who in fact competed in singles competition against the current GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. We're talking about Tadasuke and Yohei from, of course, GLG. And they both won. So, by definition, right, they are issued themselves as the next challengers for those belts. And now we're seeing the opposite. Last time, Hayata had to deal with Yohei, a guy he's familiarized with, and of course Eita with Tadasuke. So now they swapped deck on this one. So Hayata, in fact, has to face Tadasuke. Now you probably would think Tadasuke will try to make up for that loss that he had against Eita, but you would say that Hayata, who's proven himself as one of the best junior heavyweight competitors in Pro Wrestling Noah, that it won't be a problem. But I'm not sure if it was an implanted DDT that put away Tadasuke and Hayata to pick up the win. Now, our next match, we have a somewhat of an GLG showdown. We have LJ Clearing teaming up with Anthony Green, and of course Jack Morris teaming up with Jake Lee. Now, last time we saw LJ Clearing, he teamed up with Jack Morris. They lost because, of course, the leader of GLG was there. But you will probably think, well, the last time we saw a little bit of some unnecessary shenanigans from LJ Clearing, I would say he learned his lesson. But I don't think he learned his lesson. Not to when it comes to his seniors. I'm referring to those above him, such as Jack Morris and all that. Uh, Jack Morris applied like the octopus on him, and he had no other choice but to tap. Now, our next match, as I mentioned before, we had Hayata versus Tadasuke. This time is Hayata's tag partner, Eita, taking on Yohei. Now, the real question is, will the results fall in favor to Eita, like what he did with Tadasuke the last time? Well, you can say that Yohei will stop at nothing to ensure not to embarrass himself, but I'm sure he would definitely want to make up for losing the match against Hayata last time. But unfortunately, Eita, who has been proving to be a very strong junior heavyweight competitor in Noah, he was able to pick up the win when he applied a somewhat version of the GTH onto him, and just like that. But it's a clear message saying that there is the possibility of Hayata and Eita that could definitely defeat GLG, Yohei, and Tadasuke for their tag titles. So we'll see when that day is signed. I definitely would love to see that. Now, our main event, we have a bit of an 8-man tag match. We have Junta Miyawaki, Manabu Suya, Rohei Oiwa, and Keito Kiyomiya versus Naomichi Marufuji, Yoshinari Ogawa, Oka Sasaki, and Takashi Sugiura. So keep in mind, these wrestlers, there's teams that are in fact signed up for the Victory Challenge Tag League that will be coming up soon, I think in March. But the obvious thing is who will walk out as the winner. I thought this match was pretty interesting, but it was Manabu Suya. Despite the fact he did not win the GHC Heavyweight Championship, I feel that he is still growing popular, growing significantly, like proving himself that maybe just one day he can be a champion. And he picked up the win when he put away Sugiura with the jumping DDT, and it was over from there. Excuse me. But anyway, as you know, they're preparing for Victory Challenge Tag League. I can't wait to see it. Hopefully, I get to see it. But we'll see what happens. But for right now, I think that's pretty much it with Pro Wrestling Noah. It's time to move on with our final review, AEW Dynamite. Okay. AEW Dynamite. It begins with tag team action. As you know, the war between FTR and BCC has escalated even further. Now, keep in mind, the BCC made it very clear that it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from, if you step up or get stepped on, and the team that responded is none other than FTR. Now, some people could say that FTR made a big mistake. Others can say FTR are willing to prove themselves to go back on top as they were known in the past. And I think that sets it up. But the obvious question is, how will this be different? Now, keep in mind, we did see, was it Dax Harwood or, yeah, Dax Harwood in a singles competition with John Moxley, but it didn't go exactly according to plan for him. Because I'm willing to say, Dax Harwood, he is capable of doing things on his own, but I don't think he has the necessary experience as a singles competitor since he is a tag team specialist. But unfortunately, this is something that nobody here in the States likes. I'm sure people will say we must have a winner. This match ended in a time limit draw. So that's what happened. The time was up to 20 minutes. So, but however, all hell broke loose between both sides. They continue to try to pound each other. Referees and other officials tried to separate them. That went up in smoke. But during a backstage thing, FTR went out of the way, saying that they want to continue this in Revolution. So the obvious question is, will BCC accept? Well, we'll see what happens until then. Now, during an interview, as you know, Orange Cassidy has been battered up. Many of his friends have been disabled thanks to the United Kingdom for getting involved. However, we did hear that Orange Cassidy was in the UK this past weekend in Rev Pro, and he put the title on the line in a 7-way scramble match. But according to Doc Sampson, he said he's cleared. I mean, he knows that Orange Cassidy is stubborn as hell. So that's what we do know. Now, Orange Cassidy faces against Mike Bennett. Now, don't forget, last time he faced Matt Taven in a death match, and did not go well for Taven. So you would think this would be Mike Bennett that would picked up the win. However, you probably would think, okay, Mike Bennett will be a bit more smarter than he was, and exactly that's what he did. However, Orange Cassidy had a result to another move, and that move was none other than the beach break. However, when Orange Cassidy won, he was being viciously attacked by Roderick Strong and Matt Taven. But the unexpected surprise, Jake Hager showed up and helped Orange Cassidy. This was a very unusual thing. Now, I don't know why. Why would Jake Hager, out of all people, decided to help Orange Cassidy? It made no sense. We know that they had some history in the past, but hopefully we get the answer either this Friday or Saturday in Rampage or Collision, or possibly next week. So we'll see. Now, we did see, of course, an interview with Renee Paquette. She talked to, of course, Cool and Ruby Soho that they're on their way to the date. However, as soon as they were leaving, a car pulled up. We didn't know who it was, and it turned out to be Ric Flair. Now, Ric Flair, in the other hand, came out saying that he wasn't here supporting Sting like he known for, but he went to see the Bucks. I don't know what's going on, but I can tell you this from what was posted on the X account by the Bucks' closest friend, Brandon Cutler. He said that they were some sort of deal. Ric Flair came out with a smile. Now, Brandon Cutler doesn't know what this is about, but I can try to play a little devil's advocate for all of you guys. I wouldn't be surprised in two ways. One, Ric Flair turns his back on Sting, or he low blows the Bucks. Now, what would I think that? Come on, guys. If you're a Ric Flair fan, or if you know who Ric Flair is, you know he is the dirtiest player in the game. Sting has always said that. He is the dirtiest player in the game. So that's always who he was. And I think that would make sense. But we will see what happens. Now, we do see an in-ring interview with Tony Schiavone with Daniel Garcia. However, it was told that Adam Copeland has been put on the shelf, and of course that he will be facing Christian Cage at Revolution for the TNT title. Now, Daniel Garcia explained something about um, during the Continental Classic that he felt like his world was falling apart. But after that last match he had, it's like something clicked him. However, Christian Cage shows up saying, he doesn't want to face him. I'm telling you, he feels like he doesn't want to face anybody because he wants to pass the title to Nick Wayne. And of course, he effing did it. Went there again about people's fathers, and that include Daniel Garcia talking about his father, who was a loser, an alcoholic, and all this that. But Christian Cage has no interest in having Daniel Garcia siding with him. Fighting him, but he wants him to side with him because he thinks he can be a better mentor for him. But Daniel Garcia does not appreciate Christian Cage talking about his mom. So he sent Nick Wayne to teach him a lesson. He put him a sharpshooter. Then he sent Killswitch to deal with him. But Daddy Magic showed up with the save. But however, this is finally going to be taking it personal. So we'll see what happens in the upcoming week before we get there. Now, we did see, as you know, the main event features, of course, Swerve Strickland, Brian Cage, and Samoa Joe taking on Hangman, RVD, and Hook. Now, during the interview, Hangman seems like, he's a bit of an edge about everything and all that. So, but yeah, so we'll see. Now, Toni Storm was in the ring taking on someone named Cindy Winnell. She actually used one of Deonna Purrazzo's move, that double arm bar lock, in order to send a message. So she was playing mind games to hers. But however, Deonna Purrazzo did the same thing too by coming out at their celebration. And I think Deonna Purrazzo knows how to push her buttons. But she's facing against someone she has met before, and that is Madison Rayne. And of course, much like what we saw with Toni Storm applying one of Deonna Purrazzo's moves onto her opponent, Deonna did the same thing with Madison Rayne with the ankle lock. I forgot what they call it. That gives him the win. But however, the Toni Storm showed up to beat the crap out of her, even to mention tried to, soften her up before Revolution. Do you probably think this will be enough to stop her? Well, we'll see, because Deonna Purrazzo doesn't give up, doesn't actually know the definition of surrender unless it bites her in the ass. But we'll see what happens. Now, Darby Allin and Sting had some real strong words. Now, the Bucks has often said that those tag titles have been meant a lot, but what is the most precious thing for Sting? And that is his family. If you remember, the Bucks attacked his sons right in front of him. And of course, he mentioned that 7 days or so ago, his father passed away. So he warned them that there's going to be a big fight. Well, we'll see what happens until then. Now, Wardlow comes out, does an in-ring interview with Tony Schiavone. Of course, he made reference to one particular person, and that is CM Punk. I don't know what's that all about, but it seems now he's on a rampage that he wants the AEW World Title and all this other stuff. But we'll see what happens until then. Now, last Saturday we saw some interest. There was some ups and downs with the cohesion between the Bang Bang Sigzer gang. We're talking about Jay White, the Guns, the Acclaim, and Daddy Ass. So basically, they agreed. Okay, yes, things did not go according to plan, but they got the win. However, Jay White came up. How about this? Me, Colton, and Daddy Ass team up. So basically, it's going to be interesting to see that in Collision. Now, some excellent news. We did hear that next week, Will Ospreay will be making his appearance. As you know, this past weekend, he had his final match in the Independence. So that's going to be great to hear. Now, of course, speaking of Will Ospreay, one person we definitely want to say, what does this mean that Will Ospreay will be here next week? And that is, of course, the Don Callis family showed up. Don Callis said it doesn't matter who walks out between Takeshita and Will Ospreay, because the win will definitely go straight to the Don Callis family. And then he said he will fly him over himself on his own private jet or something like that. I don't know, but yeah. So anyway, our main event is Hook, RVD, and Hangman taking on Brian Cage, Swerve Strickland, and Samoa Joe. Now, interesting factors here. Hook has issues towards Brian Cage. RVD is trying to make up for his loss against Swerve Strickland. And of course, we know Hangman, Swerve, and Samoa Joe, how this was going to be. So this became a chaotic scene. However, I can tell the tension has risen between both, of course, Swerve and Joe. Keep in mind, it was Joe who picked up the win when he put RVD in the sleeper hold, forcing him to tap out. Deep down, you probably would think that Swerve felt it was supposed to be my moment. I should have been the one to pick up the win to prove the point. Swerve says that belt is going to him, that he will be the next champion. Now, many fans have often say they don't honestly believe that this match is going to end with Swerve Strickland at Revolution. It's going to still end with Samoa Joe. But we will see what happens until we get there. So I think that's pretty much it right now with AEW. Let's move on with news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with, of course, updates with the promotions on their events coming up. Now, as always, we begin with GCW since they got the most announcements coming from their side. As you know, this coming Friday, we do have Touch the Sky. It was announced that SG SG Cunt will be in action to take on Cruz, Max, and Curry. Now, I know Cruz is Jordan Cruz, and I don't know who the other two are, but yes. Then later on the 3rd of March, no, the 9th of March, we have Ashes to Ashes. It was later announced that the GCW World Tag Team titles will be defended. Violence Forever defends those belts against Sawyer Wreck and Dark Sheik. And then, of course, this was announced for the Indie Hall of Fame for the April 7th day during WrestleMania week. The second inductee, or should I say inductees, are none other than the Briscoe brothers. You know, I feel they deserved it, guys, because they've been one of the best. And of course, Mark Briscoe accepted the Hall of Fame on his behalf and all that. So this is going to be great. Now, as you know, I mentioned about the new show in LA for the on the 20th of April. How High? I don't know who these guys are. If anybody from the independent scenes of the LA area, they have these guys call themselves the Stoner Brothers. I don't know who they are. If you guys know who they are, please tell me, or if there's any videos of them on YouTube, so I can check them out. And then, as you know, the following day in Albuquerque, New Mexico, for Breaking GCW, they announced that Nick Gage, Dark Sheik, Gringo Loco, and Bessie will be participating in that particular day. Now, next week, for those who know this or not, Baka Gaijin and Friends will be broadcasting their latest show, Volume 12, on YouTube, and it's free, people. Now, if you guys never seen Baka Gaijin and Friends, go check them out. And then finally, House of Glory has announced for the Reckoning show on the 2nd of course, of March. Charles Mason will take on the Ringmaster of the main event, a Midas Black. So that's going to be really cool. Now, updates for WrestleCon in Philly. They announced that Tony Schiavone will be there, and so will Dustin Rhodes. So anybody from who's attending the WrestleMania weekend or weekday, whatever, just letting you guys know, Tony Schiavone and Dustin Rhodes will be there. So that's going to be a lot of fun for you guys if you make plans to go there. Now, interesting developments that we're hearing. Now, you may have heard this already. Apparently, AEW has hired a brand new employee, and this person, her name is Jennifer Pepperman. Jennifer Pepperman recently left WWE last week, and now she's been assigned as position as Vice President of Content Development. And it was also revealed that she is close friends to Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks. So I'm like thinking, how is it she got the job? But Hopefully, that could be revealed at some point. Now, as you know, I mentioned NWA for their recent show they had. They officially announced that they are now streaming. They have a streaming deal with the CW app. So if you guys are interested in of checking out the NWA on their on the CW app, go get it now. Now, Fightful Select reported something that I think many of you should agree or not. They say that AEW should sign Michael Oku. Now, some of you may question. Now, those who don't know who Michael Oku is, Michael Oku has been a sensational wrestler in Rev Pro. He has been tag team champion, cruiserweight champion, and he's the current heavyweight champion in Rev Pro. And he just recently had a long battle against Will Ospreay in his last match. I mean, Michael Oku is someone we definitely could see. So, what do you guys think? Should AEW sign him? You let me know in the comments below. Now, finally, this one is one I saved the last. It was announced that New Japan Pro Wrestling has entered a partnership with Costa Rican Wrestling Embassy. Now, those who know this or not, I am half Costa Rican. Now, if you ask me, if you comment this, you probably ask me, what's the other half of you, J Rod? I'm half Mexican. So I'm Mexican. I'm half Mexican from my mother's side, half Costa Rican from my father. And I have been aware of this promotion, Costa Rican Embassy. They used to had a backing from CMLL from their early days, and then of course they had some really interesting wrestlers that made appearances, like Marty Scurll, Cody Rhodes, Zack Sabre Jr., Flip Gordon, even the Young Bucks. I will see if I can try to find that video of the Young Bucks at the Costa Rican Wrestling Embassy. You definitely will love to see that match. So I'll put that in the description, a link to it on the description down below. So check it out. And I think that's pretty much it for now. What we have, we did all the reviews, news updates. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have TNA and of course Ring of Honor, so that will be a priority. Now, I haven't. Now, there is a recent All Japan show that just came out. Also, there is the Rev Pro show, the high stakes that features Will Ospreay's last match, and also the latest Stardom show that came out recently. So we'll be see what it can do. But however, as I said before, Ring of Honor and TNA are the top priority. We'll see what happens from here on out. So for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.